What if I told you that you could sound quite like Hilary Hahn by taking just 5 things? I studied more than 800 books in 4 languages to find the hidden techniques I'm about to teach you in this video. You will learn exactly how Hilary Hahn implements those secrets and how you could apply them right now to play the violin beautifully, like hundreds of my students did, even by starting at 68 with no prior musical experience. Look at that! What do you see here? The first thing I see is extreme left-hand optimization. First, let's just look here. See how her fingers are near to the string the whole time? Let me go slowly forward. You see? Her fingers are really very next to the fingerboard the whole time. Doesn't matter if she is in first position or in the last position, it's always next to the string. To do this is really important, and that's really easy to do. First thing, you need to take your hand and put all 4 fingers on the string, like the D string. And then you just want to lift your finger approximately 1 centimeter or 2 inches above the string. And then stay like that the whole time. Of course, you need to stay very relaxed, okay? I don't want to be there like blocked, but to have the finger in the right position, but relax. The problem with most people is that their hand is too open, like that, and then when they play they need to move the whole hand and arm, or that they break here the wrist. So what you want to do is to have a straight wrist and to rotate here to come above the string. And then keep the finger relaxed above the strings. Then next, I want you to have a look at her wrist and left elbow. So here you will see that it doesn't matter if she plays on the G string or on the E string, her hand, her finger are always in the same position. How is that possible? It's because on each string she adapts the elbow. Here is the elbow on the G string, and here is her elbow on the E string. And the problem with most people is that instead of doing that, they make string crossing with the wrist. And because of that, it destroys completely their hand's position. For doing it the right way, it's very easy. Just keep everything straight and force you to do string crossing only with your elbow, nothing else, using the complete arm. Then let's look at her fingers here. What do you see? I see extreme finger articulation. Let's look again at that a little bit slower. Look at her finger. She is articulating very strongly every single finger. And that's the reason when we hear it's really... the sound of every single note is like 100% clear. To develop very good finger articulation, what you need to do is lift the finger very high and then to send it on the string with a lot of speed. And this speed is on both directions. That means when I bring the finger down, I move it very quick. Then I lift the finger up, it's the same. I move the finger up very quickly. It's like, let's say, I burn myself on the string and I wanted to lift the finger very quickly. That's the same. Okay, and the same in the other direction. It's just very fast. The thing you don't want to do is to press the string firmly because it will make you very slow until we not help for the articulation. So articulation is speed, not pressure on the string. And by the way, to master those different points, you need to do appropriate exercises. The first exercise I would recommend, it's what, for example, my students did in level 1, week 11. Those are exercises on the D string with the 4th finger. So the main thing here is that those exercises here are only on the D string. So you can really focus on having only 1 elbow position. And then I have other exercise for each string that my students did. And so they can practice having the right elbow position on each string. At the same time, you can, with those easy exercises, really practice having the finger next to the string and then practice the articulation. So for the articulation, the best is really some simple exercise like this one. It's a 2-note exercise because you can really focus only on those 2 notes, like that. And what I do is that every time, before I play the second note, the F sharp, I want to raise a little bit the finger and then bring it with speed on the string back. Let me show you again. So now let's see how she do shifting. So here, if you look at that very slowly, what we see is that she is always using intermediate notes. And here I want to be clear. When you do shifting, that means moving from, for example, first position to third position, or it doesn't matter which position, the surest way to find the right notes is to use intermediate notes. And especially if you're a beginner, you should practice every time with those. So what are intermediate notes and how to find them and how to practice them? Here are a few very good examples that I do with my students. I do this in the level 10. And the first thing you should really do is to master one finger exercises. By the way, something I still in German because my students are German, but now we are translating everything in English. And I'm French. Okay, so this is simple, it's one finger exercise. Here, the first goal is that you really master shifting with only one finger. Because when you play with intermediary notes, the first thing you understand is that there is only 4 shiftings possible. 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. So that's the first thing you should practice. Same finger to same finger. Then, in second phase, you want to practice the intermediary notes. So here is very simple examples. This is what we want to play, E in first position to A in the third position, like this. E, A, third position. To do that, we want to practice it this way. First, we need to find what is the intermediary note. So, an intermediary note is basically the finger that shifts to the position we are in, to the position we want to be in. Here, we are in the first position with the A, and we want to reach the third position. So, we shift with the first finger. Then we are in the third position, we play, that's our intermediary note, the G, and then we play the A. And then something important is that you want practice to make the intermediary notes always shorter and shorter. And then quasi that we don't hear it anymore. And then at the end we should only have that, but the movement is the same. Then look at that. Here, what is very interesting for me is how controlled it is. The finger movement is like so perfect. The big problem I see a lot of people do is that when you look at the round, even if you were not listening, it looks like chaos. Like one time the finger move like this, one time it move there, one time this move, one time this move. When you look at Hilary Hahn, it's like only the fingers are moving and nothing else, and always the same way. They go down or they go up. There is no other movement. Let's check that again. A little bit slow. Okay? But just this. The most simple movement possible. For this, you really need to force yourself when you practice to move only the finger and nothing else, and to have always the same form with the finger. That means not one time your finger is like this, one time is a little bit more like that or like that. You should always touch the string with the same point of the finger. And the tilt between your finger and the string should be always the same. So now let's go to the second big secret. You need to play like a pro, not like a beginner. Here what I mean. Okay, what do you see here? I see she's having fun. She's just playing, okay? She's not like, I am playing the right note. I'm worried, maybe I will get the wrong note, or maybe I will get some scratch. No, she's just playing. Okay, I can't play it, but it's just, she's having fun, okay? And that's very important. And maybe you think that you need to play amazingly well to have fun or to just play, but it's not true. It's really what I see with my students. It's a lot easier. You just need really to allow yourself, to play, to forget about the technique, to forget about finding the right notes, to forget about what will happen in the bow, and just play, have fun, and come in the music. And for that, a big secret is that you need to separate technical working and musical working. That means that you need really to have time where you just work on your technique, to learn to play the violin really perfectly, beautifully, to automate everything. And then you need to have time where your goal is just to have fun, to play really like a professional. And then you need to make more contrast, okay? The big problem I see a lot of people do when they play, and that's for everyone, even me, is that everything sounds too similar. It's like everything's the same. And when you are Hilary Hahn, it will be like first time like really soft, then second time more, and then the third time like. Okay, so you need to make just more contrast. When you want to play soft, play really like extreme soft, and when you want to play big, play really big. And by the way, if you are an adult beginner, I created a free masterclass to show you exactly what you need to do to play the violin beautifully. You can register with the link under this video. Then our next big point is everything that has to do the bow and have a beautiful sound. Here, what do you see in this image from the video? What I see, the first thing, it's how round a grip is, okay? It's like a perfect round everything. And the problem I see most people, when you will look at you at a mirror, is that they do this. They press with the thumb like strongly, and so it looks like that, instead of being relaxed and round. The best way to achieve that is first put the bow on the string so that it's less hard, and then like relax every finger and put the thumb very gently on the bow, and then relax it. Then the next thing, it's quite hard to see. You could see it a little bit here with a fourth finger. It's something actually I really read only 2 times. It was one time in the book from Leopold Auer, one of the greatest violin teachers, and then in some interview of Galamian. And I really found it interesting that I say that actually the fourth finger should not rest on the top of the bow, but on the inside part. That means I don't put the fourth finger like that, but a little bit like this, diagonally on the interior part. And here you can see it very clearly too. Then the next thing you can see in most part of the video, especially here, is that when she wants to play very soft, she tilts the bow a little bit. That means that she don't play anymore with all the hairs from the bow, but she tilts it so that only a few hairs touch the strings. And because of that, the sound is way softer than if I was to use the wall bow. But of course, when you want to play a little bit more loud, with more sound, you need to use all the hairs. And do not tilt then the bow. And to do that the right way, it's really easy. You just need to tilt with your little bit from the wrist here. And we always tilt in this direction, okay? Never in this one. But here is one of the most important things. Look at her right hand. It's completely relaxed. It's completely free. It's not. Most people, it's like it can't move. It's like it was not alive, like steel or something that just can't move. Here, what we see, it's just the hand is completely free and relaxed. And that's super important if you want to have a beautiful sound. And for this, you need really, after you put the bow on the string, to check that every finger is really relaxed, okay, that your grip is really relaxed, and then move the bow really gently. Very soft, without holding the bow strongly, just completely free. Then the next thing we see very well here too, on the whole time when she plays, is her shoulder is down the whole time. That's really important to have a beautiful sound. A lot of people do like that when they come in this direction, or they play always like this, sometimes because they are always a little bit like that, because when they work on the computer, and it's very important to relax just both shoulders, okay, to really let them down. And then you put here, and then really put the shoulder down and let them down. So that the complete arm can really rest on the string freely. And then something we can see very well here, look at that, is that when you do détaché, that means when you play basically in the middle of the bow, you really need to do the movement only from the elbow, like that. And the problem with most people, they do the same movement from here. And because of that, the bow moves in every direction. You want to do only from here. And by the way, you should tune your violin very regularly. Let me do that because it sounds bad. So now there is two very important points. The last one is really important. It's just this. Look at that. What do you see? What I see is that a violin is so stable. It's like she was playing on a table. A violin is like a table. It's so stable. You could sit on it. Okay, don't try. And let's look exactly here what she do. I come back a little bit. So you see how stable it is? And the reason is how she uses the shoulder rest and the chin rest. So to find a very stable position with the violin, you need to go step by step. The first thing is that you need to get rid of the shoulder rest first. This is actually nothing, huh? So this is, I have a very normal chin rest, but it's just some protection, because I'm very sensible. So you need to start with only the chin rest. What you want to do is bring the violin really here to you, then put your chin here, and what you need to see is that naturally you put the chin where the chin rest is, okay? That means that if I take the violin and naturally I'm doing this, that's not good, because I'm putting my chin here on the middle of the violin, but my chin rest is on the left side, okay? In the past, you can see in some very old video of me that I have a chin rest in the middle, but I will always hold the violin the left, and so it will be very unstable. Here, in opposite, when you look at Hilary Hahn, she uses the whole chin rest with her chin. And that means you really need to find what is best for you. There is no general rules, it should be in the middle or left. Then the next thing, when you have found the right chin rest and chin rest position, you need to find where the violin is better for you, okay? Where it feels good, that you can put all four fingers on the string and it's stable. Maybe you need to go more on the left side, on the right side. Maybe you need to tilt more the violin on this side or this side. You need to try that with the bow too. And then you find your position. Then you need to add the shoulder rest. And here you need to try different models too. And here, what most people do wrong is that they don't really understand what the shoulder rest is for. The shoulder rest is only to fill the void between your shoulder and the violin. And here we can see that very well with Hilary Hahn. Here what you can see is that her shoulder rest is very near to her neck, and that it's really filling the gap between the violin and the shoulder. And for that means that first the shoulder rest should be really put here, very near to the neck. If you put it here, like it makes no sense, it come here. What's for? It's not the role. It should not be here. It needs to be here or here, basically, but it needs to fill here this void. And then I will put it now to show you. It could look like this. I think it's approximately something like that, for example, for her. And when I put it, I show you here, you will see it fills the void here between my chin and the shoulder. And because of that, you really need to test how high it should be. And then to have the right tilt, and you need to adapt a little bit like this or a little bit like that. And then to have the right tilt, you need to adjust the rate on both sides so that you have the right tilt. And basically, you should find the same position that you had without the shoulder rest, but then more stable. So, and now we come to the most important point. Actually, I remember very clearly a few years ago, I made an interview for my teachers. He was one of the best teachers in the world, Jean Lenner. I studied with him a few years. And I asked him, what do you think is the one most important thing someone needs to do to learn the violin the right way so that it sounds beautifully? And do you know what he told me? It should sound beautifully from the very beginning. Then he told me, a lot of teachers say, it will sound beautifully later. That's wrong. If it doesn't sound beautiful now, it will not sound beautiful later on. And that's really important. Every time you practice, it should sound beautiful. If not, it doesn't mean like it will be later beautiful. No, it just means you are practicing wrong. So what you need to do every time you practice is first really hear that you have a beautiful tone. That the bow, even on an open string, but it's beautiful, it's relaxed, the sound is soft, it's nice to hear, and it's relaxing. Then, parallel, you want to have 100 perfect pitch on every single note. No matter what you practice, you should always play exactly the right note very accurately. So now maybe you think it's easy to say, it's more difficult to do. I'm with you here. It's very true. But there is a few things you need to change if you have this problem to solve that. And the first one is that probably if you can't do that, what you are doing right now, it's way too difficult. So you need to start from the easiest thing. The easiest thing is an open string, actually. When you can have a beautiful tone on an open string, then you need to start with the easiest thing with the left hand, okay? That will be like 0 to 1, basically. When you can play 0 to 1 with perfect pitch, add a second note to it, okay? And I mean on one string. Don't do this on every string. On one string, 0 to 1. Then same string, 1 to 2, 0 to 2. Every combination, though, perfect pitch. And then you increase, yeah? And that's all. When you learn the violin really step by step, one day you can play on the whole violin and it sounds perfectly.